Hello, friends. Have you ever heard of a lost treasure hidden in an ancient place? Today, we will follow Alex and his team on a dangerous journey to discover the Shadow Gateway. Will they find the truth, or will they be lost forever? Let's find out. Alex Carter was a young archaeologist. He had always wanted to prove the legends he read in history books. This passion took him to the far corners of the world, but this journey was different from all the others. Alex had found an ancient map in a village deep in Central America. The map marked an ancient gateway, the Shadow Gateway. According to the legends, this gateway opened to another dimension, where treasures beyond human comprehension were hidden. But no one had ever been able to open the gateway, let alone find it. Those who didn't believe the legend saw it as just a story. But Alex was sure about the symbols and texts hidden in the map's details. He made it his mission to find this gateway and solve its mystery. So, he gathered his team: Maya, a technology expert and old friend; Ethan, an experienced climber; and Professor Elara, a historian. Together, they set off towards the dense forests of Guatemala. But they had no idea what they were getting into. The team moved through the hot and dense forest for days. The marked spot on the map was getting closer, and the area was becoming more dangerous. Animal sounds were disappearing, and the air felt heavier. At this point, Maya noticed an old stone statue. The statue resembled a human figure, but its face was missing. Instead, there was a hollow space and an inscription: "Those who accept the shadow will reach the light." This inscription confirmed Alex's thoughts about the legend. Professor Elara said the statue was likely an ancient guardian. However, Ethan wasn't so sure. "Maybe they are trying to tell us that what happened in the past wasn't good," he said as he examined the statue. At that moment, Maya noticed a strange pattern on the ground around the statue. The stones were arranged like a star map. Alex pulled out the map and matched the symbols, pointing to the location of a door-like opening. By the end of the day, the team arrived at the entrance of a massive cave. The entrance looked like a stone door covered in vines. In the center of the door, there were symbols similar to the ones on the statue. Maya began to examine the door's mechanism. It seemed like a puzzle, but it might also be protected by traps. Ethan stood watch, while Alex and Elara tried to decode the symbols. Alex noticed a detail on the map: light and shadow together will show the way. Elara pointed out the sunlight entering the cave and said they needed to align the stone symbols with the light. Maya touched the stones to find the correct angle. Finally, the stone door opened with a loud noise. Inside, a dark corridor stretched out. Ethan turned on his flashlight and said, "There might be no turning back from here." Alex confidently stepped forward, saying, "We're all here for this." The corridor led to a narrow and long passage. The walls were covered with ancient symbols and drawings. These symbols told a story. Most who entered the Shadow Gateway never returned. However, those who did claimed to have incredible power. "I like this story," Ethan muttered. But just then, one of the stones on the floor collapsed, and a mechanism activated. A door at the end of the corridor was closing quickly. Maya did her best to hold the door open, but at the same time, sharp stone spikes began to fall from the ceiling. The team ran to the end of the corridor. They jumped just in time to avoid the door closing. As they descended deeper into the gateway, the air grew colder and heavier. Alex felt that something was watching them, but it was more than just an animal. When they reached a massive room, the team was in awe. In the center of the room, there was a glowing sphere. The sphere changed colors constantly and was surrounded by ancient writings. But as soon as they stepped into the room, the stone guardians around the sphere came to life. These guardians were human-sized, but made of stone and light. Their movements were fast and appeared hostile. Alex remembered the instructions on the map. Respect the darkness of the shadow. Don't attack them, Alex shouted. We're being tested. If we stay fearless and respectful, they will let us pass. When Ethan saw one of the guardians approaching him quickly, he reflexively swung his knife. This made the guardians even more aggressive. Alex knelt down and raised his hands. The guardians paused for a moment. When the others did the same, the stone beings stopped moving around the sphere. The room became quiet. As the team approached the sphere, images began to appear inside it. This wasn't just a treasure, it was a mirror reflecting the deepest desires of the human mind. When Alex touched the sphere, he saw his past, fear of failure, and the desire to prove himself. Ethan felt guilty for not being able to protect his family from dangers. Maya faced her longing to find where she truly belonged. But the sphere didn't just show their fears, it also offered them a choice. They could take the sphere, but that would mean the gateway would collapse, trapping them there. Or they could leave the gateway as it was and escape. Alex thought about how valuable this discovery was, but it shouldn't come at the cost of their lives. We have to leave it here, he said. Ethan disagreed. After all this, are we going to leave empty-handed? But Maya agreed with Alex. If we survive and tell this story, it could change the world. In the end, the team decided to leave the sphere behind. The team headed back towards the exit of the gateway. This time, the path seemed even more complicated. It was as if the gateway itself was trying to keep them inside. The stone floor was crumbling, and the passage was narrowing. When they finally reached the exit, light greeted them. As they watched the gateway close, Alex felt that this secret had to remain hidden. When they returned to the village, they decided to share part of their discovery, but didn't tell anyone where the gateway was. The Shadow Gateway had to remain a secret in history. And for the first time in his life, Alex understood that sometimes the real adventure is knowing when to leave something behind. What would you do if you found a powerful treasure but had to leave it behind? Alex and his team made their choice. What would be yours? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join me for the next adventure. See you next time.